Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show with Angel and Eric. Thanks for taking time out of your business day to join us for hours. Hey, do you remember The Wizard of Oz? The very first ever color television show?
My son was just in the play, The Wizard of Oz. He got to play the Scarecrow. And one of the things that we learned, because they took the book and turned it into a play, but in the book, the slippers were silver. But because it was the first Technicolor movie, they made the slippers ruby red.
Do you know who my favorite character was?
I don't.
You'll never guess.
The winged monkey.
Oh, well, that's a very good guess.
Yes.
But no, it was Toto.
Was it Toto?
You know that cute little Karen Terrier, little
he
fuzzball?
He was pretty cute.
Yeah.
He was pretty darling. Now, when we think about leadership and lessons we could learn from the land of Oz, we're going to learn it from Toto's perspective. Our next guest is Dr. Kevin Fickenscher. He's a physician and noted leadership expert, and he's telling the story of leadership through the voice and eyes of Toto. The book is called Toto's Reflection. Kevin, welcome to the Experience Pros Radio Show.
Thanks, Angela. Very good to be here.
Kevin, I love the idea of taking a leadership perspective through the eyes of a Karen Terrier, though what a small hero for our story. What made you decide to go through Toto's eyes?
Well, first of all, I mean, you were talking about the story of Oz. It is considered to be the most favorite movie of all time, of all movies that have been created so far. And so it's because of that. It's a story that all of us know. When you were talking about going from black and white to color, I remember that very distinctly when I was a kid growing up, how when we had black and white TV, and then we had a color TV, and the next year at Thanksgiving, because it always came out on Thanksgiving, I'll never forget when it was suddenly color. It's like, wow, that's something else. But why Toto? Toto, if you think about it, was the only character in the entire story that listened all the time. And one of the most important things for leaders to do is to listen, and to listen very carefully. And also, as you think about it, Toto was also one of the very few characters, aside from Dorothy, that was in every scene, was in all parts of the show and the movie and the book. So Toto was ever present. Even when he wasn't barking, even when he wasn't sort of dominating, when he was just sort of participating and listening, he was very careful. He was there. That's what leaders need to do.
I agree completely. And when he barked, boy, he meant it. That witch was around.
That's exactly right. When he barked and he said something, boy, people listened,
When we think about the characters from The Wizard of Oz, of course, we've got the Scarecrow, Tin Man Lion, the Wicked Witch, and there's some very strong characters, or very out, kind of in-your-face characters. Toto is kind of behind the scenes. You said he's in every scene and he was always there, but I don't think we often think of Toto as, as having these qualities of he's not really who we think of first, I guess, when we think of Wizard of Oz. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. But I mean, he's sort of throughout the entire show and the story. I mean, I think one of the most poignant parts of the movie is when Miss Gulch comes to the farm and takes Toto away and puts it into a basket and puts it on her bicycle, and she, rides away. And all of a sudden, we see Toto stick his head up and look out, and that's where the notion of unleaping comes from. Because it was at that point that he made that decision that he had to take a leap. And you know what? In leadership, it's really important for leaders to occasionally take a leap. And Toto really exemplifies that. I think there are so many aspects of the story, but it's not just Toto. I mean, the Munchkins are really important. And I think one of the lessons that Toto describes is that, they're not really little people. They're really just characters that are really, really important. And if you want to be an effective leader, you got to listen to folks that are around you.
You see that, Angel?
I'm sorry?
Well, I was just telling Angel, be encouraged. They're not really little people.
Yeah,
they're very, very important.
Dr. Fickenscher, you should know that Eric stands about 14 inches taller than I do.
I see.
now, our guest is Dr. Kevin Fickenscher, and now the book the leadership lessons from the Wizard of Oz, or Toto's Reflections, I'm sorry, is the name of the book. You also, through the book, talk about the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Lion, and the symbols of the core attributes of a successful leader. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I love it. So it's important to have those brains, but thought, reflection, those things also very important. What's one more thing that we need to know about this book before we have to let you go?
Well, I mean, thought and heart and courage, those are all important attributes. But, putting those all together, they really represent a three-legged stool, and collaboration is a very, very important part. And I think finally, at the end of it all, persistence. I mean, one of the things that is sort of clear throughout the entire story is that leadership is about persisting in the face of many, many obstacles. And through persistence, by keeping focused, you can make a difference. And at the end of the day, when all is said and done, it's all about making a difference.
Well said.
Absolutely. Well, we all know that Wizard of Oz has made a difference in all of our lives. We've all seen it dozens of times as we were growing up. And so now to look at it through the eyes, now where we are in business and in leadership, it's just a fun little twist. The book is called Toto's Reflections, written by Dr. Kevin Finkensher. Where do we get a copy?
You can get it on Amazon or Outskirts.com.
Amazon or Outskirts.com. Fantastic. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. A real pleasure to be here.
Right back at you. Folks, don't go anywhere when we come back. Business tips and insights. You're listening to Angel and Eric on the most positive business talk show in America.